Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone else. Welcome to a Friday evening episode of Ted's Booze Cellar with me, your most gracious host, and one of our old guest hosts, Phil.
Hi.
So, I didn't do an episode last week. Unfortunately, I was just quite ill. Now, we're going to be taking a look today at a type of drink I swore that I'd review more of this year, and that is a wine, which is the Co-op Most Wanted Malbec, which, I mean, granted, already my main forte in wine is red. I do drink some rosé. I like nice white with salad or fish, like I said in the last episode with Owen. But canned wine in general, regardless of whatever the type, I generally just dislike. And I've had that confirmed to me by people from a number of different countries that are known for their winemaking. So what's your experience with this type of white Malbec, and what are your first impressions?
My first impression is that there's nothing there to indicate that it's a wine, really. The sort of geometric designs in silver next to the label don't indicate wine in any way. There's nothing classically wine related. You'd have thought they'd be grapevines or some kind of Art Deco theme.
Or at least like some sort of vine leaves or something like that, yeah. It's very, very strange, yeah. It's kind of like got this sort of like modern corpo, slightly Art Deco-y design to the silver shapes around the Most Wanted logo. And it
looks like it should be an energy drink rather than a wine.
Yeah, it looks like it should either be like a zero added sugar canned coffee that you find in like some supermarket in Thailand, or like you said, like some weird off-brand like energy drink that's like made by like a social influencer who's like related to like a famous rugby player or something like that. I don't know. It's not actually like a terribly designed can. No. I actually do like the design. It's just weird. So I'm going to probably give the design of the can and like labelling and all of that probably like a 7.5 out of 10. It earns a half point just for the fact that it's got those silver lines, because even though they're just like, what the hell is this? It does look like a fairly handsome bit of packaging. So what do you think?
Yeah, I'd go around 6.5 or a 7, because I do like the blue highlights, and I do think that the simple design is quite nice.
Yeah, I'd say probably like a median sort of like mid-range that we'd probably agree on is probably like 7 out of 10.
Yeah,
would be.
I will say the black pull top on the top adds something to it. I do quite like that.
Yeah, it does make it more visually distinctive and easily tellable. So I can't unfortunately remember the exact price I got this for from Co-op. If I find it while I'm editing, I'll put it in the video. I'll also try and find the link if possible and put that in the video description. But shall we have a quick snifter of it?
Yes, let's.
Okay. Oh, I've been having this in my fridge for a while now as well, and I've kept meaning to edit it into a video, or like review it rather, I should say, and I've just never gotten around to it. So, in the can, it just smells like cheap, slightly rag white grape juice, really, that's got a bit vinegary. It's not an amazing nose, but it's not actually super awful. No. So I'm probably going to give the nose like a very underwhelming, albeit not horrible, 5.5 out of 10. It's not a great nose, but I honestly have had worse.
It smells like it's going to be a lot sweeter than it will probably turn out to be.
I'm wondering if this might actually be a rosé, maybe, but I'm not entirely sure.
I mean, there's pink sparkles on the top of the can.
I think this is a rosé, not a white, so I might be an idiot. But that, again, shows how much I know about wine. So, I'm coming into this from obviously a bit more of a workman's kind of perspective, because, I'm not the most common wine drinker. But, let's have a sniff. Ooh, wow, that's really red.
Oh, wow, okay.
Okay, so I'm a complete dumbass, and it's actually a red wine. So, forgive me, everyone. I will have to put up so many captions in the first few minutes of this video just saying, Ted's wrong, it's a red. Ted's wrong, it's a red. Okay, so, you ready?
Alright, ready?
Right.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, try not to spill any of this on that orange shirt, because that will definitely stain. In the glass, actually smells quite nice. Smells like just like a normal mid-range red wine for like 10 quid. Nothing amazing though. So like a decent but somewhat understated, maybe 6.9, 6.8 out of 10 for the smell. I'm going to go with... actually no, I'm going to go 7 out of 10 for the nose in the glass. It's because of the room that it's got to breathe, it does express itself a bit more and there's a bit more of like a mellow, sort of warming summer evening grape feeling to it. So
yeah, it reminds me rather a lot of a Lambrusco.
remind me what that's again.
It's an Italian red wine, quite thick in its texture, but very rich and fruity.
Not as much as Advocat in its texture.
No, not quite that thick.
Okay, nice. So,
More like, I don't know, beetroot juice or something like that.
okay. Right. Well, anyway, what do you think of the nose out of 10 in the glass? Because I gave it probably like a 7.
You did give it a 7. I was going to go 7 as well.
Yeah, that sounds about fair.
Yeah, I think we're fairly in agreement on this one.
Okay, so for this red that I thought was a white, like a dumbass, it probably has actually like a pretty decent nose.
Yeah.
Even the nose in the can isn't terrible, it's just meh. Anyway, do you mind putting this in on the radiator so that people can see it in the background next to the painting of the dearly departed Brian the dog? Before we see what the sucker really tastes like, we'll have ourselves a quick palate cleanser of water. Sorry, I forgot to mention that while you were holding the shot glass precariously. Anyway, remember, stay hydrated and drink responsibly. Okay, and then on to the most important part of the video, which is to see what this red, which wasn't a white Ted, actually tastes like. So, in these not Poundland, charity shop shot glasses, chin chin, and I hope everyone has a good weekend ahead.
Well,
Nowhere near as bad as I thought it was going to be.
yeah, to be fair.
Not great, but it's honestly not terrible. I mean, like, I think inherently on a majorly fundamental level, red wine is just any wine actually is just poorer in a can than it is in any other container. Like, except for maybe like if that really dodgy friend has brought some round in a plastic bottle, then it's like maybe I'll just stick with a cup of tea. But I think, yeah, for canned wine, it's nowhere near as bad as I thought it was going to be.
No, I mean it reminds me a lot of the sort of cheap mulled wine that you get at your sort of rubbish Christmas market or something like that. In terms of its overall texture and nose, it obviously doesn't have the spiciness of mulled wine, but I would say, you could actually use a wine like this to make a sort of fairly nice mulled wine. Yeah,
it's not great drinking wine, but I do feel like you said, it's good for like maybe making it into things, not just mulled wine, I think, but also maybe into like. You could probably use this actually. I know they do a bottled version of this. You could probably use the bottled version of this for making really nice poached pears actually, and then using that to make either like red wine pear compote or just having the pears as they are with like sour cream or.
My mum makes a really nice red wine and plum dish.
That would be good as well. Yeah, that sounds really nice. Or maybe even putting in some stewed apples as well. It feels like something that would be really good in making it into puddings. Or like you said, making into something like either a mulled wine or maybe even a sangria. On its own, it is a bit of an underwhelming red wine though, and it is very sort of bland as you would expect from a canned wine. But again, just not as bad as I thought.
I've never had wine from a can before, and there's no reason to be particularly snobbish about it. I just wonder, you're probably so much better off buying a bottle for the sort of price to volume ratio that you get. I don't really understand the point of these kind of canned spirits and canned wines.
Canned premixed cocktails make a bit more sense to me in concept at least, but I think I agree that wine just fundamentally is nicer in a bottle. Even if it's not a necessarily great wine and it's a fairly cheaper one, you're always going to find a better experience if you find that same wine in a can and a bottle and you go for the bottle instead, because I just think there's something about serving wine in glass that's like, or like clay or something like that that's just.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, isn't that one of the, that's supposedly one of the theories for why the Chinese didn't develop glass-making technology the way Europeans did. Because even in ancient Rome, and in the medieval period as well, with all your famous green glassware, you wanted that so you could look at the nice colours of your wines. Whereas in China, of course, you don't have that because they don't produce wine. Or at least they didn't back then. They had tea and they had rice wine and stuff. None of which looked particularly pleasant, so why would you bother developing glassware when you've got your pottery?
And fast forward thousands of years, and they've ended up creating what is actually one of the world's most underrated lagers, Tsingtao.
True, but to be fair, Tsingtao is that was the German territory.
Yes, sorry, yeah, it was. It was the German port that obviously started it, but ostensibly
they have done a really good job of making beer.
Yeah, ostensibly it is the beer you think of when you think of China's exported alcohol and goods. But obviously, like you said, they've made other ones that are pretty good as well. What do you think of this out of 10? Because it's kind of got plummy and grapey notes. It's a little bit warming, but it is very just bland and kind of unassuming. So,
bearing in mind, I'm not much of a red wine person. I'm more of a white wine person.
Yeah, whereas I'm more into red.
Yeah. So I would probably go with a 7.5, just because I don't have as much to compare it to, and it's genuinely nice. I've had the Sainsbury's own brand sort of cheap red wine. I had that once at a cheese and wine party at the Politics Society at the University of Sussex.
Yeah.
And it was barely drinkable. So it was so vinegary. It was awful.
It sounds like the wine equivalent of when I reviewed Sainsbury's Basics Bitter, which was, I think, was £2 or £2.20 for a 4-pack, where all of the cans were 2% ABV. It might have been even less than that. It might have been £1.90 for 4 cans of that stuff. And that was basically just fermented dishwater. It was horrible.
I'll say this wine does leave a nice aftertaste.
Yeah, the aftertaste is actually probably the best part of it. I was going to give it my perception of it from looking at the can and the description of it was that it was probably going to be somewhere between a 1 to a 3. In terms of taste and overall experience, it's only really a 5. But the aftertaste is actually pretty good.
Yeah.
And it probably does bump it up for me to 5.75. I can't give it really anything higher than that, just because I'm a bit picky about reds. I used to be very uneducated about them, because I used to think Chile made some decent reds. They don't. Some couple of Merlots are okay, but generally Chilean wine is not great. Not a jot on Italian or Australian or French, definitely wine, but or Swiss. But I'm going to say 5.75. Although I will say, I think Imogen is going to be really upset with me.
I think so.
Because not only have you reviewed a canned wine, a canned red at that, positively, I've kind of not slashed into it. I've kind of said it's just slightly above average.
Yeah.
But also, I think they're still mad about that time you brought around Zect. Which I mean.
Red champagne basically is what it is. Yeah. And I'm sure Imogen will be upset at me describing it like that.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's basically what it is. But obviously, it just shows the cultural differences between Germany and France, where it's Germany, they love making everything fizzy, and it's
and really sweet.
Red wine? Yes, we make that fizzy. Hey, France, do you want some? The French are just fuck no.
Yeah. That's why I like, my favourite wine is Gewürztraminer, which is I say German. It's partly German, but it's partly French because it's mostly made in Alsace and Lorraine, which are sort of a bit of both. And it's kind of got the best of both worlds in terms of wine culture. It's got your French tartness, but your German white dryness going through it. So it really works.
Okay, nice. The Germans are quite good at doing dry alcohols, and even though I think my experiences with French wine has been better, I will say Germans know how to make some decent wines, and the concept of combining liqueur flavours with wines is quite well documented as well. So, I don't know. I don't think this is as good as a German wine or a French wine or a Swiss or even an English wine. I think it's just middle of the road for me. So 5.75 and then 7.5 for you.
Did I say 7.5 or 7? We'll go with 7.
Right, 7 then.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hopefully you guys enjoy this more than us. If you're French, probably not, but that's fair, honestly. If you like this video, leave a like, share and subscribe. If you have any suggestions for future episodes of Ted's Booze Cellar, be that formats or drinks for me to review, do leave that in the comment section down below, as well as any other thoughts or mullings. I did say that I was going to have the history video that I was doing out by this week. However, that will probably have to be pushed back by a couple of weeks or so, just because now I was ill, so that pushed back research and development for it. But I'm going to try and release that within the next 2 to 3 weeks-ish. But again, thank you for coming on.
Not at all. Thank you for having me.
We're going to order a takeaway in a sec because
Ooh,
I'm quite hungry. But
Same.
hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like, share and subscribe. And until next time, have fun, stay safe in whatever you're doing. Don't do anything we wouldn't do. Wash your hands, drink responsibly, know your limits, and we'll see you guys at the bar next time on Ted's Booze Cellar.
And don't drink and drive.
Yes, I would hope they think that as a given.
Yeah, that's fair.
If you do that after all the times I've said drink responsibly, then quite honestly, you only deserve to ever drink this as your only ever red wine.
Oh, gosh,